Hi, and welcome to the Sports President's Presidential Candidate Husters. Um, I've got Mark and I've got Artu. Mark is hoping to be re-elected, and Artu is hoping to become the next one. So, as we've done with the others, we're going to start off by giving each of them 2 minutes to tell us what they stand for, why we should vote for them, and why they're the right guy for the job. I'll start with R2. R2, you've got 2 minutes starting from now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for hosting this. Thank you for having us. I think it's great that AUSA is taking steps to get people more included in this election process. So, what are we looking at actually right here? The sports union is changing a lot currently. For the first time ever, we have two permanent staff members working with the sports president in sort of governing the sports union. We've just about to open the Olympic-sized swimming pool right there, and we've already secured plans to sort of expand the ASV even further there. So a lot's going to happen, and I see sort of tremendous opportunity to sort of move forward and really sort of do stuff with it. I've sort of been a part of sports with the Surf Society, basically. I'm vice captain currently. I have been secretary and in general, involved with the club. And currently I'm sitting on Mark's committee this year for the first time. So I definitely know what sort of the sports team side of dealing with the sports union feels like. I think I could really bring this perspective in, and also, aggressively, sort of, determinedly, sort of go for dramatic development and expansion opportunities. For instance, with the sports village, we obviously have world-class facilities, well, for our athletes to compete in. But we only own 50% of that building, so we can't call all the shots there. So I propose, to start development or lobby for the development of Balgoni pitches and the other on-campus fixtures, especially Kings pitches, see what we could do over there to get more teams, more practicing, more involved there. And then also related to this, there's the question about Forester Hill. Many Forester Hill Med students are disappointed that they can't get to their fixtures on time on Wednesday. So I propose also a bus shuttle service, sort of get people there, and then from Forester Hill to campus, and potentially use that for other teams when they need it as well. And in terms of expansion, I definitely want to make the sports union way more inclusive. That sort of attitude resonated in the sort of AGM, especially that it's not inclusive for some reason. But no, I wish to encourage more people, which I'll talk about. Yeah, probably.
Okay, thank you very much, R2. Mark, I'll give you an extra second.
No,
Can you tell us, starting from now?
Yeah, well, basically, I've been involved in sport at Aberdeen University for about 5 years now. Firstly, I started as a fresher in the sailing club, and gradually got more involved. In my second year, I spent time on the sports union committee as an ordinary member. My third year, I was the sports union treasurer. Fourth year, vice president. And this past year, I've had the fantastic chance to be president of the sports union. And I think we've had really some big strides and achievements this year. For example, going into 2014, all students competing in Bucks away fixtures will be exempted from Wednesday morning class, which is fantastic, and probably the only university in Scotland to have that sort of status for students. We've also got fantastic plans, as R2 had mentioned earlier, for the development of ASV, and I've been working hard all year to really lobby the university on development of better outdoor facilities, and that's something that I'm going to continue to do into my second term, whether that's at Balgownie or ASV. So there's definitely lots of potential and more scope for development of those facilities as well. I'm incredibly passionate about inclusive sport. It's everything I stand for, and I want to see as many people get involved in sport throughout their time at university. I know what a difference it makes to people. I'll give you just an example. One of the girls from the women's lacrosse team just decided to come along to training one day during Freshers Week, and gradually she got more involved in the team, and just last week she was selected to play for Scotland nationally. So that's really what you can achieve from just turning up to a training session, and I want to be there to help create those athlete and coaching pathways for everyone at the university.
Okay, thanks. As once again, guys, if you get a question to AUSA, the AUSA election, I'll say AUSA for some reason. If you get a question to AUSA election, I'll read your questions out, and one of them will answer. I'll stay with you, Mark. How do we build on the success that the sports, our sports clubs at university are already doing? They've done a lot, and we know they've achieved a lot. How do we move on from there? How can we do to even get to 100 plus 10%?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I
20
think
seconds.
our teams put in a fantastic shift year in, week out at different training sessions.
Mm.
I think like one of the best things that we can do is help put our students through coaching qualifications. So that's basically recognizing talent early on in the clubs and say, you look like a good leader, you look like will be good at coaching, and you're going to be here for a few more years. Let's put you on your UKCC1, which is the first level of coaching qualification, which will get the team more recognised student coaches
Okay.
and hopefully lead on to better teams and better training. So that's definitely one of my main manifesto points with regards to
Okay. Thanks. R2, I'll give you 5 extra seconds. How do we build on making our teams going up there?
Well, for many of the smaller teams, I've especially heard right now that they are not, have not managed to secure enough training time for them. For instance, the women's football team has to practice, almost at night. The ultimate frisbee team has to practice in Seaton Park because for some reason they're not allowed on King's pitches to practice or indoors. So as part of that, obviously, comes the sort of fixture development on campus as well beyond ASB. But sort of an interim solution, obviously, that's going to take a lot of time. So an interim solution would be to negotiate access to some other facilities around town, sort of, or even closer to campus.
Okay. And thanks. How do we make sports more inclusive, not just a competitive thing?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right now, I guess the sports union has an image that is just basically for sports teams and not just, physical activity altogether. So I sort of propose that we sort of keep going with sort of free fitness classes provided by some of our great trainers, like Gillian Kerr and Josephine Björkvist, who have, done an amazing job with these free classes. And also, also work with, charities, events, the other committees on AUSA to arrange events for lectures, series on how to sort of, how to improve upon sports and how people can get more involved.
Okay, Mark?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and we were always at the forefront of ensuring that physical activity is top of the agenda for the sports union, and we try and do as much as we can. But I think like the problem that we have is that we get pretty bad training times within ASB, and that at the moment I don't think the universities deal with Aberdeen Sports Village is up to scratch, quite frankly. And I've been working along with the full-time staff and putting together a series of statistics of what we actually get, and we will be presenting those to the ASB monitoring group, which is the board that monitors ASB's progress to the university next month. So it's something that we're quite aware of, and hopefully coming into next year we will have those extra time to put on those great classes that Artie talks about.
Okay, I'll just go straight to these questions that we've got from Rory. It's about the welfare thing that one of the welfare candidate Jenna mentioned in her manifesto about the idea of creating a welfare officer in each club. What are your thoughts on it?
Is it me first?
Yes, I'll start
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
go for it.
I think it's a really good idea, and definitely I think having a designated welfare person is something that we should really strive towards. I think if you look at the motion I took to AGM this year, I wrote into the AUSA constitution that we would have a welfare representative on the sports union committee this year that would also sit on the AUSA welfare committee. So that's really a positive step forward that we've tried to take to address the first issue of that problem.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What about your two?
Well, obviously, it is a good idea to have every single sports team to have their own sort of representative on this matter. As you know, sometimes sports teams can be seen, to be really sort of hamming up the whole, social drinking aspects, which is something, it is probably ingrained in the culture a bit, but something that we can do to also eliminate, sort of, promote more sort of alcohol-free sort of events for all the societies, and in working with AUSA as well, with the other events to get more sports people involved in the sort of, daytime stuff as well.
Okay. Another question that I have for you is lad culture and sports. Is this something that it's a national thing that do not affect us on campus that we try to talk about because many universities talks about it, or is it something that is affecting us on campus? Am I specific enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big question, broad topic, obviously. Yeah. Since I'm obviously a foreigner, so the sort of lad culture to me sort of is a really sort of new phenomenon, at least. Let's put it that way. And it's something probably something we can tackle head on. It probably does inform this sort of the sort of events and all of this that goes on in sports teams. But in that that's why we sort of need to improve upon the sports union's image to sort of bring in more, sort of casual teams, more sort of, casual fitness things to go on to sort of and better this other aspect of.
Okay, Mark, is lad culture something that's affecting us to the Aberdeen, or is it something that we just buy into because it's a national thing?
Yeah, well, I definitely think like that culture pervades our society throughout the UK, and I think it's a problem that's not just here in Aberdeen. It's right across the country, and I think like we definitely have to make strides to tackle that. And it's something, again, as I said, I'm passionate about inclusive sports, so it's something I've always work to try and eradicate. But I think there needs to be more opportunities on education and how to move that forward really as well.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Jenna. We'll make sure that we'll scream so that everyone can hear us. Hope it's okay now. Okay. I'll stay on with the lad culture thing. How do we fight it? How do we fight lad culture in sport?
Fundamentally, I think it's about education. Like, I think like you can't go in and tell a bunch of lads that they're a bunch of lads. I think you need to sit and break down what lad culture actually is, what it means, and how people are affected by it too. And you have to explain maybe why certain actions aren't appropriate as well. And I think like we have to do it as friendly as possible, and we also have to realize like how serious of an issue it is as well.
Okay. What about you, Artu?
Well, I absolutely agree with Mark. Yeah, it's something that we just can't, swipe away, in one instant because it's such, ingrained aspect of team sports in that way. And yeah, basically, education is, sort of inform people that how hurtful this kind of stuff can actually be, and really sort of work with, the other SABs on this as well. I know that's, sort of pervading theme right now, but I really believe that, sort of getting the sports unit sort of out of its sort of small isolation, more into the sort of AUSA fold will also improve that situation better by including more people.
Okay.
I don't have time to say anything. Like, I just think as well that I think sometimes we get a bit caught up in always blaming our sports clubs. Our sports clubs do some fantastic work across
They
the
do,
university,
yeah.
whether that's charity reason or fundraising as well. So I don't always want to get caught on the negative, and especially at this kind of prime time question in sports president candidate. It's like I firstly want to say that like I don't think it affects all our clubs, and I think some of our clubs do fantastic work in the local community and around society.
Can I just also clarify that? Yeah, it's true. I mean, one of the candidates yesterday made it very clear that it's not something that it's just a sports thing. It's a university thing.
Yeah.
So yes, definitely, it's not just a sport thing, and I think we all agree on that. That it's just not a thing. Okay. Hold on. Just like okay, we've got general questions here. You were the last one. I'll just stick with you. It says, what initiatives do you have in mind to promote overall healthy living, and what student groups outside sports could see yourself working with?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? The first part
what initiative do you have in mind to promote overall healthy living, and what student groups outside sports could you see yourself working with on these?
Well, potentially I want to see that I could work with all the sort of, student groups, to sort of improve this kind of, these aspects. It's really important that, as sports, we take responsibility sort of play up, the importance of, health and, nutrition and everything like that, especially since, most students are 18 to 25-year-old people who are at most risk of, eating disorders and stuff like that. So definitely, work with other, committees to provide, information sessions on this stuff.
Okay, what about you, Mark?
And yeah, I totally agree, but I think the problem has to go much wider than just university students. Like, if you look at Scotland's record with healthy eating and with the current obesity crisis that we're facing across Scotland, I think that we have to do a lot of work further to society, and I would again work a lot closer with Aberdeen City Council, which we've done this year in their Fitness for Life strategy, and really employ some of those contacts and links that we've made with the local community this year into my work into next year.
Okay, I'll stay with you, Mark. It says, okay, here we go. It is often claimed that sports and healthy living is not a political remit. Do you agree or disagree with this?
For me,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I think everything's political, to be honest. Whether that is, we mightn't be party political, we mightn't be into party politics, but I think everything we do, having an opinion to me is a political thing and a political statement, and having a point of view and wanting to change something in society is something that's political to me. And I think, like, being sports president, I want to change a lot of things what happened in the university and what are things happening in society. So, of course, it's ultimately political.
Okay, what about you, Artu?
Could you, repeat the question?
The sport needs to stay away from politics, or does it have to be involved in politics?
Well, yeah, I mean, just like Mark said, it is an inescapable fact about our society, and but on the sort of institutional level, at least we can sort of assume a neutral stance that we are just an organization that solely promotes sort of sports activity, physical activity, and just healthy living in general. And honestly enough, I can't see how much of a political agenda you can even shove in there.
Okay.
To be fair.
Okay. State, what is your personal reason why you want to become sports president?
Just pride, really. I'm sort of the sort of situation where you can run up against a sort of long-standing current president, sort of who has done fantastic work in the sports unit. It's just it is sort of a challenge for me personally, and Yeah, one of the last situations you actually can, in this sort of controlled situation, uh, run up for an election, and then sort of get a good sort of opportunity to sort of really expand your sort of managerial and organizational skills, and genuinely take an interest in other people's activities. That's an opportunity I do not want to pass up. So that is why I'm running. Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
I'm running because I love the job. I'm incredibly passionate about it. I believe I've got the experience and commitment to take sport at Aberdeen to the next level. Like, I've donated the past year of my life to this organisation and making sport at Aberdeen better, and I want to do it for another year. I've got lots more plans online on my manifesto, and I've got lots more to really give.
Okay. I'll start with you, Mark. I'll just ask you general questions about AUSA now.
Okay.
Okay.
Exciting.
Yes, should be fun. What is the organization's weakest point?
I think we're really bad at telling students what we actually do and articulating our wins to them. Like, we've done some fantastic work this year, and I think we're approaching a really exciting time with the new strategic plan, which was a comprehensive piece of research undertaken this year, and also the really exciting news that we're going to have a £10 million new building for us within the next 5 years. So I think we need to tell the student body what we do and really get out there and inform our decision making.
Okay, what about you?
I absolutely agree, actually. Communication to the student population is the biggest problem AUSA has, and we have a massive presence online already in social media, which I think we need to utilize better, which is one of my manifesto points, to utilize the online resources for this reason, and then also to sort of get, sort of free resources at stuff, that we don't need to throw money at things as well. And also, the point that you made about the new union building, I think, that's going to be a sort of good sort of bridging in a way, sort of make the sports union seem more relevant on campus if we, for instance, secure a sports union night at the new union bar for every Wednesday.
Okay, well, communication is one that keeps coming up. How do we fight communication apart from the usual social media and the tradition in terms of talking to people?
Well, I mean, regularity in communication is definitely something we could promote, but then at the same time, students obviously receiving a lot of email at once, so we don't want to just send out communication if we have nothing to talk about. And that sort of goes for more sort of making AUSA more transparent. We see where the money goes, especially in the sports unit. That was something that came up in the AGM. They were not happy that the sports unit had such a big budget allocation, but it's not an exclusive budget. That's everybody's budget. Yeah, just make it more transparent.
What about you, Mark? Communication, it seems to be our biggest, and how
yeah,
do we do it?
well, I think like one of the first things I do, I put more resources into the AUSA marketing department, and that would be my first primary goal.
Okay. I'll just correct something quickly. I think for those of you who were at the AGM who kept asking where the sports union budget went, I think afterwards there was a tweet that said the majority of them went to the ASV because we don't own that building. So if you're asking that question, I think there was a tweet about it from the official AUSA Sport. So I'll refer you to that one in case you're having issues about where majority of sport. I don't even know why I'm saying that, speaking for sports, but yes. Yeah, just I'll clarify that. Mark, what is the organization's strength?
AUSA strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to sound a bit cheesy, but like definitely the students. Like, I think we have fantastic student volunteers that really go above and beyond expectation, like day in and day out, to serve other students' needs and to promote, extend, and defend the rights of students at the university. Like, what's really better than that?
Okay. What about your two?
Well, I mean, this is gonna sound terrible, me repeating all your answers, but yes, the students are what make the organization. There's no getting away from that, and it's so great to see so many people running into this election as well. Who are generally passionate of making the student life here a better place, and definitely sort of I want to be a part of that, working together with these people to make that a reality.
Okay. Have you guys managed to see each other's manifesto? The question that we couldn't ask the others. Have you been able to read Arthur's manifesto? Have you been able to read Mark's manifesto?
I looked over Mark's manifesto.
What is the point on Mark's manifesto that you find that you would like to adopt?
For my own manifesto.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, well, Mark obviously has great experience in the sort of professional sports sphere. Especially sort of driving our teams forward. Towards sort of greater sort of achievement with sort of really sort of technical and a good sort of support structures. So definitely something I would want to look into as well. How do we sort of on top of getting good fixture training time allocations, how do we sort of get more professional sports into the sports teams?
Thanks. What about you, Mark? Have you, what is on Arthur's manifesto that you would like to steal?
Yeah, I definitely like to have a sports union night at the union bar. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think it's something like we'll definitely do. I think whoever is sports president next year. So.
Okay. You've got more seconds. Do you want to use it or do you want to...
No, I'm happy for you to continue, Brian.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay. Would the new building affect you sports guys very much? Will you guys looking to move in, joining us wherever we'll be, or will you stay in your corridor?
In our corridor in ASU.
Yeah.
I think that's a discussion that we're still yet to have, and I think that's got to be one that's got to have with our club captains and club committees that come into our office regularly and really daily / hourly to use the office where it is. So I think that would be a discussion I'd want to have with them next year about where they see is the best venue for the office to be located, whether that's in the new building here or whether that continues in ASB.
Okay, what about your two?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is still, at the really sort of early planning stages, so, talking about this kind of stuff could be a bit premature, but definitely, the sports unit needs to have a big presence in sort of planning out the sort of the structure and the sort of the facilities in this union building as well. Like, the union bar, maybe set out a small space, to get some more visibility on campus, obviously, so not probably training facilities, but like a sports unit corner there, if possible.
Okay, where do we tell students who do not participate in sports that sports belongs to everyone and it's not a rivalry between sports and societies?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's sort of what actually came up with your last debate with Veronica and Ergun, where it's sort of the sort of polarizing of societies as sports teams. That's just not true. Obviously, there is this, idea that it is an exclusive club and you need to sort of be a part of the, a team to sort of participate in it. But this is what I want to do, especially sort of promote these sort of free fitness classes, expand that to like yoga and everything else, so people can initially start getting involved and see where we go from there.
Okay, what about you, Mark?
Yeah, I really want to break down that kind of barrier and notion and just get more people involved in sport. And I don't think it's true at all that there is a bit of animosity between sport and societies. Like, I was a member of a society my whole time while I was at uni, and I was also a member of a sports club, and I know many people that are in the same position as well. And sports union has nearly 4,000 members now, and I think most are actually in societies as well. So I think there's a lot of overlap that actually isn't really getting reported on Twitter.
Okay.
Between the two.
Okay. So just to sum it up, sports don't hate society. So people stop the civil war.
I love societies.
It's like
Me
war
too,
is
me
over.
too.
Great. Yeah. Do anything for your vote. How do we? I think I've already asked that question. Actually, the question I had in mind, but I'm going to ask you this question: what do we do? What would be your first act once in office? What would be the first thing that you would do once in office?
My first thing I would do in office is adopt whoever the new kit tender is, because that has to be done by the end of the year. So that's going to be the first sports president's active duty, is to sign the papers for who will be our new tender supplier and kit for the next 3 years. So that'll be the first thing that I will do anyway if I'm re-elected.
Okay, what about your two?
Well, definitely look into this immediately into where we could sort of negotiate access into at the beginning of the year for sports teams to do their training. Also, obviously the new kit negotiation, which is exciting. That is also a priority since it's already in motion. Can't ignore that. So.
Okay, 3 things to sum you up.
3 words.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Determination, dedication, and physical activity.
Okay, what about you, Mark?
Commitment, passion, experience. It's in my manifesto.
Okay, just tell us something before I'll let you go. I'll just tell why should people vote for you?
I'm incredibly passionate about the job. I love sport at Aberdeen, and I only want to do. Thing I want to do is make it bigger and better, and that's something I'm going to try my hardest this year. And there's definitely more to come and more things to finish off.
What about you, Archie?
Okay, well, I mean, definitely I have not got as much experience on the sports unit committee and sports union in general as Mark has. But all this time, Mark has been in the sports unit. I've been in the Surf Society, really dedicatedly pushing for our team's, place. And I think I can bring this the team's aspect into the sports unit governance with this perspective very well.
Okay, thank you very much. I think our time is up. I think our time is up, but thank you very much. Everything will be on the website, and so if you need more information on them, you can tweet them or you can Facebook them. I'm sure they'll answer. And I'm told that I think how many years is the sports union now?
We are celebrating our 125th anniversary.
Yeah, so whoever takes charge, hope you keep the tradition going. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.